Hey everyone, welcome back to the most exciting and insightful e-reader radio show in this entire world. Of course, this is the Good E-Reader Radio Show. My name is Michael. It's September the 2nd, 2015, and 'tis the season for new devices, new tablets, and new e-readers. This is what we're going to talk about on the show today. Of course, Kobo has just officially announced the Kobo Touch 2.0, and Chapters Indigo dropped the ball last week. They put an entry on their site with a few pictures, but didn't really include any specs, and this kind of left the Kobo PR department scrambling to say, okay, this is an e-reader. We can't really tell you too much about it now, but in the coming days we will. Here's the story. This is a basic entry-level e-reader. So you can think of this as the low end of the spectrum. It'll be the Kobo Touch 2.0, the Kobo Glow HD, and then the Kobo H2O. So that kind of rounds out their modern portfolio. So again, $89 for this e-reader. We do have some specs available. It is using an older e-ink Pearl HD screen, 800 by 600, 167 ppi. It's infrared touch. It has a 1 gigahertz processor, 4 gigs of internal memory. There is no SD card. There is no front light. So this is sort of the type of e-reader where if you've never had one before, this may be a good jumping off point. Price is cheap. So if you look at, say, the entry-level Kindle in the United States, retails for about $79. The new Kobo Touch 2.0 will be about $61. So $10 would be like the price difference, a little bit more. I'm not really good at math. Aside from the Kobo Touch, which I'm told will be available in the coming weeks, we will also be getting a review unit. So if you want to know more about this, stay tuned to our blog at goodereader.com/blog. Barnes & Noble has a new 6-inch e-reader that is going to be formally announced, I'm told, on this week. So September 3rd, which is tomorrow, or September 4th will be the formal announcement. Not a lot is known because pretty well I was taking a gander at the FCC, which is the federal. It's like the communications company. All devices and tablets have to be submitted through there and approved in order to be sold in North America. We do know that there's a 6-inch device, likely because Barnes & Noble is releasing it so far after the Amazon Kindle Voyage has hit the market. Chances are it'll have comparable resolution, form factor as the Kindle Voyage, so it won't probably be a Kindle Voyage killer, but it'll give you the same type of super high resolution reading experience. So, regrettably, I don't know a whole lot more at this point, but I do know that a 6-inch e-reader's plan. Now, we do have a scoop, and we're the first website to report on this. Barnes & Noble is also going to be unveiling a new 8-inch Nook tablet. As you guys know, last year, Barnes & Noble established a relationship with Samsung for the Samsung Galaxy Tab 4 Nook. And these were Samsung-branded tablets that Barnes & Noble basically said, yeah, we'll buy about 1 million units off of these. But they didn't sell hardly any of them. This was because the Nook HD Plus and the Nook HD were older Nook branded tablets, and then when the Samsung tablets came out, they actually had worse resolution than the previous generation, and this kind of irked a lot of users because they were like, okay, this is a new tablet that's expensive, and it's kind of worse than the previous generation. Not so with the new Nook tablets. So the Nook branded tablet that they will be selling in the bookstores is the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2 8.0. And here's a little bit of specs. It has an 8-inch Super AMOLED capacitive touchscreen display with a resolution of 1536 by 2048 at 320 ppi. This is totally amazing. Underneath the hood is an octa-core processor. So this is an 8-core processor featuring a quad-core 1.9 gigahertz and then a quad-core 1.3 gigahertz. 3 gigs of RAM. There'll be an SD card that supports up to 128 gigs of extra storage. Now, I don't know if Barnes & Noble will be marketing both the 32 gig and a 64 gig internal memory variants, but those are the two options that Samsung has available. It has an 8 megapixel rear-facing camera and a 2 megapixel front-facing camera. It'll be bundled with Android 5.02, which is Lollipop, and you'll be able to download all the apps that you want from the Google Play Store, the Nook App Store, and then the Samsung App Store. So you have 3 different content distribution systems. Now, of course, it remains to be seen if there'll be any Nook branding on the devices. The last 2 tablets from Samsung that Barnes & Noble released only had Samsung branding on the tablets. There was nothing to let you know that this was a Nook branded tablet. The only way that you sort of knew it is when you powered it on and there was a number of Nook apps on the front page, an e-reading app, a library app, a setting app, magazine app, an e-book store app, and so on. So you can think of this as a multi-purpose tablet where you do have some Barnes & Noble apps on there, but that's not really stopping you from taking advantage pretty well of any app that you want from the Google Play Store. So if you want to install the Amazon app or the Kobo app or even the Good e-Reader News app, you are more than able to do it. This tablet also is going to be released by Samsung tomorrow, so chances are we'll hear an announcement from Barnes & Noble shortly. Let's jump into some Amazon news. Kindle Unlimited launched in India today. It's an introductory price at about $1.50, and it'll double or more in price in October. So if you want to check it out, now's the time. Kindle Unlimited is basically a Netflix for ebooks platform. It's only really available in Canada, the US, and most of Europe. India is the first time that it really kind of branched out into Asia. So we'll be watching to see if they use this as a stepping stone to get into Japan, into South Korea, and other markets as well. Speaking of Amazon Underground, it has been announced and released last week. It's a new app store that has thousands of games and apps available for free, even those that cost money on other app stores with no catches. You'll be able to download popular titles such as Fruit Ninja, Goat Simulator, Star Wars Rebels, Recon Missions, Office Suite Professional 8, and many more. What's most compelling is that none of these apps that are currently available have microtransactions of any kind. So Amazon Underground is basically defining what an Android app store experience is capable of. At the same time, they're making it very lucrative for developers. Normally, when app developers make apps, they normally charge a one-time fee, so 99 cents, sometimes a few dollars, sometimes in Square Enix's, for their Final Fantasy portfolio, things cost like $19, $20. At the same time, Candy Crush Saga and apps like that, they pretty well make billions in microtransactions. So with an app developer, you pay them 99 cents and that's it. They don't make any more money from you. With Amazon Underground, you'll be able to download their paid app for free, and then Amazon, for every hour that you actually use the app, Amazon will pay the developer 12 cents. So if you download like a free app that normally costs 99 cents, but you use that app for 2 weeks, a few hours a day, that developer's making quadruple off of you than it would just charging a one-time fee. So this is actually quite lucrative. Amazon is actually monetizing the Underground platform by running advertisements, and the revenues that it brings in will be used to pay for developers. The ultimate hope is that more people will jump ship to Amazon from Google Play, because you can actually get paid apps for free, and you can feel good about it because you're not actually pirating these apps. Things aren't completely rosy with the Underground launch. Customers have noticed that Amazon did get rid of its free App of the Day program, and many people have been wary of installing Underground because of privacy issues. When you install it for the first time, it wants access to a litany of personal information that some people are finding intrusive. On the other hand, sacrificing some of your private info to download thousands of paid apps might sound like a good trade-off to some. If you live in Japan, or if you participate in Amazon's Kindle Direct publishing scheme, there'll be an 8% consumption tax applied to all Kindle ebooks going forward. So starting October 1st, list prices will be tax inclusive, meaning that the 8% consumption tax will be included in the list price that authors establish. We have full details on our blog in terms of the exact revenue system, but suffice to say, if you are a self-published author, you really don't have to do anything, but it's important to note that this is occurring. Digital magazine subscriptions are on the rise. It may be considered a moot point by now, but, digital is increasing and print is on the decline. According to the latest ABC audit, the average circulation of magazines fell on average 5% in the first half of 2015, while digital circulation rose 21% year on year. What is most interesting about this report is that magazines such as Empire and Men's Health are hampered by both tough competition, but also shifting consumer attitudes towards their content from online first to online only. That's to say, people are getting entertainment and movie news from such as The Hollywood Reporter or IGN on a daily basis, and not Empire. The second major component to the audit has to do with publishers starting to be successful with turning their print titles into premium advertising channels. Cosmo, for example, is still a key magazine brand, and alongside its print version has successful events such as Fash Fest and high-profile awards like Ultimate Woman of the Year. The magazine has also started to double down on social media, such as Facebook, where clickbait articles on sex are shared millions of times a day. They also have 1.3 million Twitter followers, all of which are unaudited audience extensions. So, do you use Overdrive? Are you a library that uses Overdrive, or do you borrow ebooks from the library? Well, I have some crazy news for you. In 2015 thus far, and obviously it's September, the month is clearly not over yet, Overdrive has announced that it has loaned out 100 million ebooks and audiobooks. This is a massive achievement for the company because they've only really been marketing digital content since the year 2000, when they started digitizing a lot of their ebooks and really kind of getting into it. So, 100 million is huge. If you kind of look at what's happening in terms of trends in libraries, 2014 was a banner year. Over 10 libraries in the North America, so this is just Canada and the US, they loaned out over 1 million ebooks each, which is a significant increase from the 6 libraries that achieved this milestone in 2013. What's more, 2 libraries loaned out 2 million ebooks. So this is some big news. What type of ebooks are being loaned out the most? Well, Overdrive is starting a monthly report from over 34,000 libraries and schools all over the world. The top 5 most borrowed ebook titles from libraries in August was The Girl on the Train, All the Light We Cannot See, Go Set a Watchman, Gone Girl, and Grey, which was E.L. James retelling of 50 Shades of Grey, but from Christian Grey's perspective instead. So that's about it for the news that we have here today. There is plenty of tablet news that's going to be announced at IFA in Germany tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be an absolutely crazy day in terms of tablet news, new devices, and everything else being announced. We'll likely do an audio update tomorrow if Barnes & Noble does release the new e-readers, and we'll do a break-in audio so you can be told about that. In terms of the tablet news, there's going to be stuff by Samsung, Acer, Asus, the usual suspects. We'll do a roundup of what's going on and what are the most compelling buys for Q4, for the holiday season, Thanksgiving, all that type of stuff. So thanks for listening, everyone. You've been listening to the Goody Readers Show. My name is Michael, and everybody take care.